Hey everyone. So I finished my second college class. This one was drawing one. The first one I did was 2D foundations, but this one is drawing one, and it was enjoyable overall. I did a lot of stuff I've never done before, so I have a lot more experience with that kind of stuff. But before we get to what I made, I wanted to share off the sketchbook that I did with that class. I've had this sketchbook for a long while. I want to say 2 to 3 years. I just haven't touched it. Finally decided to use it for this class. It's not very full, so when I go back in the fall for drawing 2, I will be using this one again. But this was the first assignment. It was an the only one I actually labeled for what it was. But we just had to make an asymmetrical design. I had 3 in mind, or 2, but 3 designs. North Africa with a focus on Spinosaurus aegyptiacus, the sauropod and pterosaur, and then a kelp forest with a leopard shark on either side, or mostly on the left side, and a lot of kelp elsewhere. Got some hand studies for gesture drawing. I am completely honestly not a fan of gesture drawing whatsoever. I find it hard to keep the pencil on the page. I find it challenging to do all the lines like that. Not a huge fan of it. But like cross contour and whatnot, I'm okay with it. It's kind of like, in a sense, kind of like cross hatching. This is some linear perspective stuff. Some boxes, a jar, and a cup. Didn't do anything on this page, got pastel on it. Still life setup that I didn't fill in this box, but still life setup that I actually did do one of the drawings for. Portrait practices. This is very obviously not actually what I look like. It's just very loose human face to get the general pose I wanted down. More linear perspective stuff. Figure drawings. Cross-hatching, I think that's what this one was anyway, with a turtle. Also a little Spinosaurus mirabilis drawing, or doodle up there. 2D, this one was supposed to be expressionism, and so the specific prompt I got was fearful owls, and these were my sketch ideas. Master artist study Triceratops. I forgot who this one was though. And then thumbnails for my other species for my homework, which I've already shown off in a video, was Carnotaurus. And then accordion book. Those were the objects I had to draw, and these were my ideas for the accordion book. And yeah, that's everything in the sketchbook. And so I guess technically, like, starting off our project section is this newsprint book. About half of what we did on newsprint was torn out of it and pinned to the wall, but largely what's in here is just like figure, gestural, contour stuff, people and a bicycle, and also a still life that we had set up, as well as for our master artist project, we did some still life stuff in here. The object I chose for that was a little Triceratops. And now we get to some in classwork, homework stuff. So this class was very charcoal heavy, so I used mostly vine charcoal up until I ran out of all of it, except for this really big piece. So instead I used soft willow charcoal, and still have a good amount of that, as well as compressed charcoal, and occasionally white pastel. But yeah, this one is basically just to make some shapes, experiment with charcoal and whatnot. It was fun. That was the general idea with this drawing too. I believe it was. I don't know. This one was like very early on, same day. So like mid-January we did this one. But I really like the design. A little unfortunate disappointed I didn't get to finish the little kind of like vine detail on the rest of it though. Big pages, so this is going to be cut up the way I currently have it edited. This one was same exact day, but basically we had to use both of our hands, left and right, to make a mirror image. So I went with North Africa with Spinosaurus and some sauropods and a fish. This is not the best it could have been. All right, in terms of like some classwork, homework stuff, things might be a little bit out of order, but this is generally the order that I got them done in. And on that note, this is my first homework assignment. This was the first sketch that I actually showed in my sketchbook before we got to all this, and in this video. And this is mostly how I wanted it, except the leopard shark that was supposed to be this. I made the body too skinny, so it wasn't. I didn't make it a leopard shark. I made it a pajama shark, and yeah, that was it. And then when I was coming up on my final critique, I fixed it up, made it more asymmetrical by adding a sea slug, a rock, a bigger strand of kelp, and a star-spotted smooth hound. And yeah, it works a lot better as asymmetrical now. Yeah, just some more mass gesture figure studies. Bicycle. Actually, wait, hold on, the page is upside down. There we go. The bike itself was upside down. Cat gesture pages, a cat statue. There's a couple of cat statues in our classrooms, and for our chosen gesture objects, I chose the cat. These two were, one of them was a blind contour, and the other one was only look at the thing you're drawing, not at the paper. So like these two cats completely de-atomized, but yeah, I like this page. It was featured in both of my critiques, midterm and final, actually. I like this one a lot. A similar cat statue drawing, but with proportion stuff. Hands. I had to do 15 hands of different poses, and this is really what I came up with. It was fine. It was fine. Upon looking at it later, I do see I could do more with, like, interesting line weight and whatnot. Some of them are thin, because I used charcoal pencil instead of vine charcoal, but could have done more. But some of them are really well done, especially me holding a toothbrush. And so, yeah, that was really... that was a homework. This is another homework, and it's really the same thing. Draw a hand, but make it a little bit more dynamic, with like cross contours and shading and whatnot. Not bad. The fingers are a little short, but they could be because of the angle I was drawing from. Negative space assignment. This one was honestly kind of fun to do. We had to draw a portion of a still life. Maybe it was the whole thing at different angles of the paper, and then like rub it out and then draw a specific part of it and then erase so you can... It was fun. I like this one. This one turned out pretty well. This one is another homework. It was draw a still life out of office supplies. So I went with my computer at the edge of my desk with stuff on it. I'm not really the biggest fan of drawing still lifes, but most of the ones I did this class were actually enjoyable. This one was also kind of fun. Draw a crumpled piece of paper. Some of the shadows aren't as dark, specifically like over here, aren't as dark as they could be, but that's because I was using my train railroad flashlight as the light source, and I was uncertain on some of them, especially how to do the carpet and the wall. But yeah, this turned out nice. I like it. Of which I've still got the paper. This one is actually based on a photograph. I forgot who took it, and I forgot all the details, but a photograph taken by a guy back during World War II in France, or maybe after World War II. Basically, we had to shade in all the details without any line work. And this was honestly a fun process. I haven't done that before. It turned out pretty well, honestly. Linear perspective stuff with boxes. This assignment was in class. Instead of draw a specific thing, we were able to get up to each other's drawing boards and draw the boxes from how we saw them. And then when we were done, we had to go back to our own and shade them. And I found it a little hard to do for me because of all the color that was added. Drawing one, we only do charcoal, black and white stuff, no color yet. So it was hard for me to figure out what to do. This is one of the still lifes I talked about in the sketchbook, and this one was actually fun to do. I enjoyed doing this one a lot. Didn't really get to finish this chest piece as well as I wanted to because we're running out of time, but overall I still like the entire piece. Another atmospheric linear perspective still life. This one is also enjoyable to do. I've taken a couple different art classes that involve fabric and whatnot, so I know how to do fabric really well. So I feel like this piece turned out super well. It's a little like soft a lot for my critique work. A lot of people said that a lot of my stuff is very soft, but I still like the way this one looks. Sink full of dishes. This one is kind of mixed opinions for me anyway. Like I like the way it looks. And this bowl is absolutely the best part of it, but the rest of it's kind of very similar shade of gray, and I was struggling to figure out how to fix that. So this one is actually viewing out of the window from class, and this one turned out not quite how well I wanted it to. It was really hard to do in my opinion, not because of the composition. The composition isn't that bad. The sun moved. Yeah, so when I started it compared to when I had it finished, yeah, the shadow is completely different. A lot of what was over here was basically the same shade of gray, so I really struggled to figure out how to make it any different from that. I could remake it since I did take pictures of when I started to when I finished, or around there anyway, but yeah, that sun, man. So all that was charcoal. Now we're getting into ink. I used India ink. It's pretty nice. This one over here is my favorite out of all of them. It's just so well done. I did go back over some of the darker areas with my gray micron pens and add in more shadows and whatnot, and it looks really good. The rest of them are okay, but yeah, this is my first time doing ink. And here's my first assignment in ink. Eggs. Egg! A carton of eggs. I don't know why I used all 12 of them. We were capable of taking some out or moving them around if we wanted to. I just did straight up a carton of eggs. And this was okay. I couldn't get to do the dry brush technique as much as I wanted to because I didn't have a proper brush for that. But the eggs turned out pretty decently. Before final critique, I did also go back with my micron pens and fix up some shadows. So the eggs do look a lot better than they did. Turtle, still life. This one is basically... pick 3 objects, whichever ones we want, and make a still life out of them. This turtle was featured in the sketchbook, actually. But yeah, I got a rock, a turtle, and an upside-down glass bottle. It's okay. Ink and micron cross-hatching. Yeah, it's really okay. The turtle looks more like a turtle now, actually. So I guess my micron fixed some stuff up. Yeah, this is just stuff in regards to various statues, but now I am back to fluctuating between charcoal and ink. Ink wash of a figure in an environment. It's nice. I like it. It's one of my... I guess it's one of my more preferred ink wash pieces. There are things wrong with it that I could go in and fix, but I like it. The biggest thing, this book that the figure is reading is actually going to be... I was actually going to go in with all the detail for the official guide to the Godzilla films. Slightly outdated. It excludes -1 GXK and the upcoming 2 new films. But yeah, it was going to be that, but I was really uncertain on how copyright would work in terms of homework and whatnot, so I just went with a vaguely Shin Godzilla shape and vague words. Skeleton. I hope this is okay in like a video. It's a mannequin and it's artistic, so it should be fine. But now we're getting into expressionism type stuff, and I've never really dealt with any kind of styles outside of Paleoart, so this was an interesting first go at that. Also, no, I did not actually use a sticker for that. It's still ready for me to put on my sketchbook. So the fearful owl thing that I brought up in the sketchbook portion of this, yeah, this is the still life, and I really like it. This is one of my favorite things I've made in this class. I was honestly, I'll find a picture of the still life, but I was honestly trying to go more interpretistic with it. I wanted to add like a tree branch here or like in the distance or something like that. Keep the blues and greens and whatnot, but I ended up staying very serious to the actual still life, but I had other thoughts for this one. This is my expressionistic homework. The picture, I'll find the photo for this one too. It's based on a picture I took in Montana. One of the 2 times I've been out to Montana. I think the last time last year. But it isn't quite the best I could have done because, again, I've hardly touched up on any other style besides mine, but I like it. It's not bad. And for critique, instead of discussing our artworks this time, we got to write about them, and the critique that I got, somebody wrote a haiku. It's not quite accurate to what it actually is, but it's a nice haiku, and I can see the inspiration for it. Back to our master artist study, again, basically draw in someone else's style, and the little figure I got for this classwork was a Triceratops. So this is that trike in different artist styles. It's nice and all. My favorite to do was this one. because I ended up turning Triceratops into its close relative Torosaurus on accident, just based on the style. This is another still master artist study, an artist copy piece, so I get to choose an art piece and copy it. This is Charles White, or at least this is one of his artworks, and my copy is pretty close to the original. It's not perfect, but it's really not all that bad. Speaking of Charles White, I do have this Carnotaurus that I drew in his style. It was fun to make overall, a little challenging, but very fun. And I did fix up a couple things here and there from the video I made when I drew this guy. Made an accordion book. It was fun. I've made books before, but not an accordion book. This is our last assignment before final critique. The front cover here is based on the fossil lab at the Cincinnati Museum Center, and everything inside it is based on these objects that I drew in the sketchbook. It was fun to make, honestly, really fun to make. Everything over here, this is the cabinet, this Ceratosaurus poster, the Ceratosaurus bones, and the desk or whatever was a last-minute decision, and the back cover is a door. And again, instead of normal critique for this one, people actually wrote down what they thought about our accordion books, and this is what people said about mine. And the last thing we drew in class, we could choose whatever still life setup we wanted, so I went back for this cat. It's been a running theme for the most part, so I went back for the cat, and yeah, this is this. It was fun. I enjoyed it. The fabric still looks really nice. The glass bottle is still nice. The rock is cool. And so, yeah, that's basically everything that I made for drawing one. I enjoyed it. It was all very fun. I do feel like I've improved a lot, especially with charcoal. So almost everything anyway. There's some portrait work that I left out, especially homework. That was a self-portrait. I'm not going to share any faces or anything. But yeah, that was all very fun. I enjoyed it. And I got another class down. 2 so far now. And with that being said, I don't really know what to think. It kind of makes me feel a little melancholy, because now I feel, right now anyway, I feel kind of like empty and feel like I have nothing to do. But that'll change over the summer, I'm sure. And besides, I am going back for drawing too, so I'm not done. So yeah, as of filming this, I have yet to go on the art club trip. As of posting, I've already done it, so hopefully it's fun. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. See you again next time.